Hello, beekeepers, and thank you for joining Woods Bee Co. for another session of Thinking Out of the Box. I'm Alan Woods, and today we're going to be looking at beekeeping in the spring. Beekeeping in the months of March, April, and May are important months for the beekeeper because this is the time that new hives are started and overwintered hives are cared for. So what you do or do not do during the spring could determine the success or failure of your hive. Therefore, it is highly important that you understand what the bees are doing and what the beekeeper should be doing in the spring months of March, April, and May. Let's start by saying what the bees are doing in March. The queen increases her laying and the colony starts brood rearing. The cluster temperature must be maintained at 93 degrees for brood rearing. To maintain the cluster at 93 degrees, the bees need resources, so they start foraging for food. While during this time, they collect both nectar and pollen. They need pollen to feed the young. Let's see what the beekeeper should be doing in March. The beekeeper makes a quick check of the hive to gauge the strength of the colony. He does this by checking the number of frames covered by bees. However, before going into the hive, the temperature must be at least 55 degrees and there must be plenty flight activity by the bees. At this time, you want to remove any unused boxes so that the bees do not have to spend any unnecessary energy heating unused space. You want to clean the bottom board of all debris so that the bees can enter and leave the hive unobstructed. At this time, you can start feeding sugar syrup at a 1-to-1 mixture in weight. That is 1 gallon of water, which is 8 pounds, to 8 pounds of sugar. However, if you have a weak hive, it is preferred that you take a frame of honey from a strong hive and feed that to them instead of sugar syrup. While feeding sugar syrup is acceptable at this time, do not feed pollen patties, for if it begins to rain and the bees are trapped in the hive, they are susceptible to nosema. Let's see what the bees are doing in April. Although the winter bees are dying, the population is growing. Drones are appearing as swarm season is right around the corner. Flowers and plants are beginning to grow that produce both pollen and nectar. Nectar is needed for the house bees as they begin to clean the cells, feed the larvae and the queen, and make wax. Now let's see what the beekeeper should be doing in April. Because April is normally a wet month, the nosema virus can grow, infect in the hive, and you should treat for it. Again, once the temperature is above 55 degrees and there is plenty flight activity by the hive, you can perform your first full inspection. When doing your first inspection, these are a few things you want to check. You want to locate the queen and verify that all 3 stages of brood are present. You want to count your honey frames to see how much food you will need to supplement the hive, and if necessary, keep feeding. You can now use artificial pollen patties at this time, placing them right over the brood to keep the hive from having to work so hard. Remember, while doing your inspection, you want to keep an eye out for items that may have mildew on them. And if you find this mildew, you can use a bleach water mixture to wipe it off. If necessary, paint. While the colony is still growing, this is the time that you want to replace all worn and defective parts, as well as ensuring that you have enough equipment for the upcoming swarm season. Let's see what the bees are doing in May. The queen is laying more and more eggs now, and the bees are still growing. More bees are leaving the hive now, which means more food is coming back in. So, what should the beekeeper be doing in May? He should ensure that extra equipment is on hand to accommodate any swarming. Beekeepers should apply the May rule before May 15th. The May rule is give the bees more room than they need. May is a good time to also perform a varroa mite treatment. This is also a good time to establish a mite count regimen in order to monitor your mite count. Most importantly, you should start planning for summer. You have the months of March, April, and May to think outside the box, so when summer gets here, you'll already know what's in the box. Thank you for watching our videos. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more beekeeping videos.